the wrist seat. This is a move that can be done from the floor, or if you're comfortable with climbs, you can take it up a little bit. You can do it on spin, you can do it on static, play around with it, whatever feels comfortable for you. So this one's gonna start from a pole sit, okay? If pole sit is newer to you or you're not 100% secure, here's a couple of little tips to work on that one. Okay, so for the pole sit, if I'm just going from static, bring one leg up and I want it close to my thigh. The pole's not gonna be all the way up there. You shouldn't be bruising your pubic bone when you go into the pole sit, but you wanna have it close to the upper part. If it's down here, you're gonna have to work really hard to hold yourself in that position, okay? So first leg comes up. I'm leaning away from that leg, so it's really pushing it into the pole. Other leg comes up, cross my legs, and keep leaning, okay? If I'm leaning, I don't actually need my hands, okay? So think about the position of your hips in the pole sit. If my hips are square, I'm gonna have to work really hard, especially if you have more of a thigh gap, okay? So depending on whether you're more of a mermaid or thigh gap or size of your thigh gap, some people have to work a little bit harder than others in this, but if you tip your hips to the side, it takes away a lot of that need to squeeze the legs, okay? So instead, you can cross the ankles. Instead of your hip bones being nice and even, tilt them, okay? Common mistake I see is that people will be trying to tilt the hips, but their arms are so high they can't lean to the side. So do yourself a favor, slide those hands down, maybe around face height, and then drop your head, okay? So oftentimes if the head goes, then the hips and everything else will follow a little bit, okay? So that's the pole sit, just kind of a quickie review there. To get to the wrist seat, for this one, as much as yes, it says it's a wrist seat, we want to try and have as little pressure as possible on that wrist and instead have most of the pressure be on that thigh pushing into the pole, okay? So that point of contact is definitely very important, okay? So doing this one in pants would definitely be a lot more work. I've got my nice back warmer on today because it suddenly got cold in San Francisco and not quite ready to take it off yet, but definitely need a little skin on the legs for this one. Okay, so hand is going to go in a true grip underneath the side that you're leaning to. Okay, so let's look at the pole sit here. I'm gonna lean to the side, lower this top hand so it's about face height so you can lean even more. Other hand, which is the direction you're leaning to, is gonna go thumb up underneath your thigh. Okay, and I'm really pushing this thigh that direction so it increases that contact. The other leg, I'm gonna bring my knee to my shoulder and lift and back. Okay, so when you lift this leg, it doesn't have to bend and then lift. You can raise it straight if you want to, but I would caution you. What tends to happen for a lot of people is if they try lifting this leg straight, the weight of the leg causes their hips to tip back. Okay, so keep in mind, it just depends on strength, comfort level with it. Sometimes we start thinking about this leg and we forget about this leg. I actually like the look of the bent leg. It's like a developpe kind of, but personal preference. So when you bring this leg up, think of open, knee towards your shoulder, doesn't matter what your flexibility level is, and then extend the leg. But because your knee is already lifted, it's usually a little bit easier to extend that leg. Okay, so let's look at this on spin and just kind of quickly go over those points so you can get started working on your wrist seat. You can do it from the floor or you can do it aerially, so either into your wrist seat on the floor or if you want to take it a climb up into your pole sit, lean to the side, hand is going to go under that thigh, keep the head drop down on kind of a diagonal, knee to shoulder, open and hold. When you're ready to come back out, close it back up to that pole sit. Okay, so that's a wrist seat. Try it out. Have fun with it.